Now, WJC's Purple Playbook, brought to you by M&T Bank.
And this is Purple Playbook. I'm Alex Glaze, joined as always by two-time Super Bowl champion Torrey Smith. Not quite there yet. We're almost there. Almost there. We have a lot to get to over the next 30 minutes as the Ravens get ready to open up training camp on Thursday. We have an update on Nnamdi Madubuike's status, and we're going to share the players that we're going to be closely monitoring during training camp. But we have to start with the big news of the week. The Ravens, they signed a center, Ethan Pocic, a 9-year veteran who has more than 90 starts in his NFL career before he tore his Achilles last season in Week 14. He tells ESPN's Adam Schefter he's fully healthy as the Ravens look to replace Tyler Linderbaum, who signed with the Raiders in free agency. Torrey, they got a veteran on the roster now. I believe there's now 5 centers on this Ravens roster that are going to be competing for that starting job. How big of a deal is this for them to make that signing?
Oh, it's huge. First of all, someone has to win it. 5 centers isn't your norm going into any kind of training camp, but this is an important position for this team. I'm excited about this signing because it's a vet that's proven that he can play. I think there are a lot of question marks with some of the younger guys. I'm not a person that believes in, hey, just let the younger guys go through it. If you have a guy that's played at a decent level before, and you have Joe Flacco raving about him just as a pro, you can't have too many of those guys in the building. And for this team, right, the center is the most underrated lineman on the team, but they're really the most important when you talk about they're the first person that touches the ball. Their ball security matters the most. We're experiencing that now with our little 12-year-old kids. If your center isn't taking care of business, you're going to be in a tough spot. And that's no different from the youth level to the pros. And solidifying and replacing one of the best centers in the league is not going to be easy, right? But it's a job that you have a guy that's proven that he can do it at a high level. It's important to have people like that to have a chance to compete.
I think the biggest question I have now is just about how quickly, one, can he learn the playbook, and how quickly can he build that relationship with Lamar Jackson? Because ultimately, it's about being comfortable with Lamar, being on the same page as Lamar when we're talking about calling out protections. What do you see? What is Lamar looking at? What does Lamar feel? And getting used to his cadence and everything. And obviously, he's playing catch-up now, missing the entire offseason and pretty much learning on the fly in camp.
Man, that'll be easy for him. He's a vet, right? The thing about football, and I'll say it each and every week, and that's no disrespect to all the gurus out there, but football's not rocket science, right? But however, it is talking different languages. There's only but so many ways you can block a person, right? Or have a scheme that in terms of blocking. So what do you convert it to in terms of what did you run with the Browns or any of your previous teams? That's what he's going to have to do, like get on the same page there. But there's no group on the entire roster that does more walkthroughs and meetings than the offensive line. It is ridiculous. They should have their own CBA for the way coaches do offensive lines trying to get them ready for games. But there's no concern, in my opinion, about him being ready, even come training camp. I'm sure he has the playbook in his hands. He'll convert it in his mind, and he'll be ready to compete right away.
All right, well, I think we have a full screen with all the centers that are going to be competing for the job out in camp. When we're looking at this, Corey Bullock, of course, has been on the Ravens roster, made it as an undrafted free agent, has been working under Tyler Linderbaum. But then, like you said, it's a lot of young guys. Nick Dawkins, Javon Gwynn, Danny Pinter, another veteran who's come here as well. And then, of course, Ethan Pocic. Is he your favorite to win the job right now? I think he has to be the favorite, right? When you're talking about a 9-year vet, somebody with 97 starts.
I think
he was a starter for the Browns last year.
As long as he's healthy, right? Like he played for the Browns. There's no one. Well, I was about to disrespect the Browns. There's no one when you play for the Browns, right? You're gonna spend a decent amount of time on offense and a whole lot of 3 and outs. However, he's in a situation with this offense where he has a chance to really lead. He's played in his division. That's the biggest thing. He's seen the Steelers. He's seen the Bengals, right? There's no surprises to him when it comes to it. And he had the opportunity to go against his Baltimore Ravens defensive line as well multiple times during his career. So I think he has to be the favorite, right? And you don't sign, and it's a steal, right, if he is, because coming off an injury, some people are like, oh, man, how is he going to be? Well, it's not like he's a receiver. It's not the same in terms of your explosiveness and what you need. You kind of operate in that circle, right? And having that kind of player on his team, I think he's going to make the team regardless, whether he's starting or he's next in line, and you give him time to recover to be his full self.
He says he's full go. We're going to be keeping an eye on that.
Everyone that gets signed says they're full go, but I'm sure he's fine.
Well, we're going to find out in just a short amount of time. And a lot of eyes, of course, going to be on the trenches throughout camp. And when we flip things over to the defensive side, the big storyline over on that side is, of course, Nnamdi Madubuike, his status, all the question marks that are there. Beaks, of course, suffered a season-ending neck injury in week 2 and had surgery back in April. The Ravens have repeatedly declined to comment on his future. Instead, said multiple times that they're going to allow Nnamdi to speak for himself, except last weekend at his youth football camp where the Ravens declined to make him available to reporters. Eric DeCosta says that Nnamdi's pointed in the right direction. There's going to be more information in the coming weeks. Just from me putting eyes on him for the first time in a long time, looked healthy, was going through some calisthenics with some of the kids, for whatever that's worth. We've obviously seen the social media videos. What are you expecting when you hear Eric say that they're going to make an announcement in 2 weeks and things are pointing in the right direction? What are you expecting to hear when they update us on that information?
I don't know, because he looks in great shape. He's clearly preparing like he's going to be healthy and play this year. However, we all know that the issue with most of these neck injuries that may hold you back are the effects when contact comes, right? You can do everything else in your life normal, but contact is kind of what puts you at risk. So we have no idea. I'm praying for the best. I know he wants to play. I know he's excited. He's never once had any doubt that he wouldn't get back on the field. But I know for myself personally, I want what's best for him and his safety. And if he's healthy and he wants to give it a go, cool. If he's almost healthy and it's on the fence and he doesn't want to play, I would prefer that for him. However, he knows his body and the professionals will take care of business. And I'm about his safety first. If he can go, I'd love for him to continue to chase his dream. But at the end of the day, it's about what's best for Madubuike first.
I think what we're going to hear is a cleared to participate in workouts on field, which is not that big of a deal when we're talking about he's already working out. He's already doing things on field on his own time. But getting in the facility, he's been in the facility as well. I think we're going to hear that. And you know better than I do. I don't think there's any way to test that physicality that we're talking about until you're actually physical. So it's just a matter of, will he ever be cleared? Because there's going to be a ramp-up period. There's going to be certain check marks that he has to reach. I'm just not sure how many checks he gets on that list when we're talking about getting to even close to contact. I'm not sure anyone wants to take that risk.
Yeah, and I hope he gets them on. That's where I kind of fall in line with. Like, I've seen kids of all ages from high school to the professional level that in their mind they want to go out and play. But they find out they had something in the past that they didn't know until they had to get a scan, or they have an injury like Nnamdi had, and there's a question of can you play or not. I think the biggest thing is what's best for them. To me, I always feel like football is what you do, it's not who you are. You've had an amazing career. I always lean on safety. However, if this is a situation where they truly believe, and he's been checked off by not just your friend that's a doctor, but every single doctor across the board, which you know the Ravens will be safe about this, then he can play, then I think you let it go. I think he's a guy that doesn't operate from a place of fear. If he can go, he's going to go full steam ahead, and I'm praying that he gets the result that he wants, which is ultimately him being on the field.
Yeah, when he had his surgery back in April, ESPN's Adam Schefter tweeted that doctors are hoping that he'd be able to make a full recovery and potentially be able to play in 2027. So that's certainly something that we're going to be keeping an eye on. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk about training camp and the players that we're going to be watching throughout camp.
This is the Purple Playbook, brought to you by M&T Bank. The winning prognosis, brought to you by LifeBridge Health. Care bravely.
And welcome back to Purple Playbook as we get ready for the start of training camp. Everyone's going to report on Thursday. It's hard to believe we've made it through the offseason now, but all eyes are going to be on this offense, this new Ravens offense under offensive coordinator Declan Doyle. He's 30 years old. He's the young guy, one of the hot new names in the league. So who are some of the offensive players that you're going to be keeping an eye on? Or who's one offensive player that you're going to be keeping an eye on in camp?
I think there's plenty of young guys that you can point out, but for me, it has to be Tez Walker. Why? Okay. Tez isn't just a rookie anymore, right? This is going into year three for him, right? And it's a great opportunity for him to take that next step forward. The thing about it, too, is, yes, they drafted 2 receivers, but those are big body, physical, X-type receivers. Tez is the only receiver that's kind of really played besides Zay, and I guess some Bateman there, that has the ability to truly stretch the field. And you got to have a mixture of talent when it comes to your receiver room. And so for Tez, he's shown flashes of being able to do it, being a game breaker for this team. Now it's about taking that next step and being a guy that they can count on to stretch the field.
I need to know what Tez did after the first couple weeks of the season. He just kind of fell off the map. I don't know if he was in the doghouse or what, but it seemed like last year was going to be that breakout year, and then he
doing
just
a bunch of things. He just
was gone.
I wish I could give you this great explanation for how it works, but coaches in football, it's the weirdest thing. But I think for Tez,
he's a speed guy.
He has the opportunity now, right? He can't worry about the past. It's about now. Be undeniable, right? That's what it boils down to. You have a skill set that guys on that team don't have. You have to be the guy that goes out, claims your role, right, and continues to grow from there. Because Tez is not just a guy that can run. He can do more, right? But that's going to be the way that he cracks this roster and kind of finds his space. And I'll continue to say, it doesn't have to be a superstar. You have Zay Flowers is going to take the majority of the targets, right? You have Rashad Bateman, who when he's healthy is one of the better receivers in this league as well, in my opinion. And then you have right there, I view it as like kind of like what Jacoby Jones was for our offense here in Baltimore, the guy that is still a threat on the outside that you have to account for him. So yes, you're going to give Zay Flowers a lot of attention. Yes, you're going to be aware of Rashad Bateman on the field, but when Tez Walker's on the field, that one-on-one matchup, if he can go out there and win and stretch that field, he's going to open everything up. And by the way, the unsung opening people up, like for Mark Andrews underneath, right? The tight ends and guys to work when he lifts the top off the defense.
Absolutely. For me, I want to say Rashad Bateman, but I'm going to save that topic for camp because I know there's a lot to say when we're talking about Bateman. But I'm looking at Jacoby Lane. I mean, this is a guy obviously drafted in the 4th round, a lot of expectations for him, big body receiver, the biggest receiver that Lamar's ever had, right? When we're talking about just his size at 6'4", and just the arm length, size, of his hands, just everything about him is just very unique. You know, Eric DeCosta's called him a ball of clay. I'm very interested to see how they use him and how he fits in all of this, because he's going to be more than just the jump ball guy and, corner of the end zone, just go get it guy. And he's been catching some flack online. I'm interested to hear your thoughts on this with his route running and people, He's a bigger body guy, larger gait, so his routes are going to look different. But I'm interested to see what that looks like in Declan Doyle's offense.
Yeah, I think that's a great guy to highlight as well. Extremely explosive in terms of going up to the ball, right? People don't realize there's a major transition from college to the league that actually favors some receivers. So a lot of people, if you watch this film, you might say, hey, you got to deal with contact at the line, getting off a press. Well, guess what? In the league, they only can press you for 5 yards. So he has time to adjust, deal with that physicality, and they can't just push you all the way out down the field in the league. He's going to have an opportunity to truly be able to make plays on the ball. That's going to be where he starts off. He is your guy that's going to be able to catch the ball on the backside, box people out on slants. Like, he's going to have time to grow. He doesn't have to be a hero. This is an offense that is built on guys playing their role. And I think if you get Jacoby up to speed, comfortable, playing fast, which comes from knowing your assignments and having the ability to have a little bit of success, which he will. Yeah. He's extremely confident in himself, as we've all been able to learn. But I've been able to watch him since he was 17 years old, and he's a guy that I truly believe in his skill set and what he can become.
Aside from the abilities that he has with the ball, also a willing blocker. I noticed that during OTAs and mandatory camp as well. So that's going to help, as well. On the defensive side, who are you looking at?
Zion Young.
Okay.
I think it's hands down, he's the guy that I'm looking forward to watching because his energy, first of all, right? He has a different personality. This team is full of guys. You got Marlon. He fits right in that mode. I watch him.
A lot of characters.
I watched him tell a little 10-year-old kid as he hit him with the ball running to first base, hey, better luck next time, buddy. But great guy, right? But his explosiveness off the ball, his physicality, that's something that you're looking forward to seeing with this unit. I think when you talk about the Ravens, you think of run defense. That's something that's been a staple for years. And he's a guy, you have Trey Hendrickson. He's going to be on the field, right? He's going to be on the field. He's going to be the guy that's going to be on the other side, is going to have opportunities to win in the pass rush, which he's continuing to develop at, but he's a strong anchor.
He's going to be like T-Rob 2.0, I think.
Yeah, I think more of T-Rob, but I think he has flashes of he can be like a sizzle type guy.
Okay.
Right?
Wow.
I think in terms of like what he can potentially be down the line. Now, Sizz is super athletic. I don't want to be disrespectful
to gold jacket
the
now.
Guy that had all of those
gold jacket.
Shout out to Sizz. But he is a guy that I think has the ability to wreck a game and control his side of the ball.
For me, I'm looking in the secondary, Nate Wiggins. How can you not be excited when you heard Nate talk this offseason about how health has been an issue for him? And credit to him, we had no idea that he was dealing with whatever he's been dealing with the past couple of years, really, because he says that he's been playing pretty much his entire NFL career, 60 to 70%. You know, this is a guy that was more productive last year, 3 interceptions, really started to come along and come to his own. But he says that he feels 100% healthy and he's ready to take his game to another level. Obviously, with Jesse Minter calling things, and we've seen what Jesse's been able to do with defenses in Los Angeles. I'm excited to see what that secondary can look like with Jesse Minter, Mike Mickens, and those guys working together.
Yeah, and I think the secondary is going to be better because the defensive line is already going to be better than they were last year. So I think that's the biggest thing. I always say, you show me a great defensive line, I'll show you some great DBs. And when you have DBs that actually have talent, like Wiggins on the back end, that's going to allow him to go out there and shine and be himself. You've been able to watch the game slow down for him since his rookie year, right? He's comfortable matching guys. Matter of fact, he calls out that he wants it.
He wants the top
right?
guy.
He wants that guy, right? That confidence there is huge, and it says a lot about his mentality. You have to have that as a corner, but also when you watch his movements and how fluid he is, he's a guy that can be a playmaker at the cornerback position, and I think this is the year he takes that step up in terms of getting he made a jump with three picks last year.
3 picks.
This is going to put him in a position to really be one of those guys that they talk about as the top corners in this league when his defensive line gets to the quarterback in a way that the Ravens are accustomed to.
Was mad that he didn't get a touchdown this year, though, like he did in his rookie year.
Yeah, he was out.
You know that he wants to correct that this year as well. All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we are going to play Something or Nothing. You're watching Purple Playbook.
This is the Purple Playbook, brought to you by M&T Bank. The Bottom Line, brought to you by M&T Bank.
And welcome back to Purple Playbook. It's time for Something or Nothing. I'm going to throw out a topic or headline, Torrey, and you tell me if it's something or nothing. Let's start with the Vikings and their quarterback competition. Obviously, Kyler Murray signed in the offseason, going to be battling with J.J. McCarthy for that starting job, which we now learned this week reportedly is they're planning to go throughout training camp before naming a starter. So this is going to be something that stretches out over the next 5 or so weeks. Is that something or nothing to you?
I think it's a bunch of nothing because that's the natural process of it. They're going to have the opportunity to compete with all their teammates being there, Justin Jefferson being there. You're going to give them a fair opportunity until about after that second week. Preseason games have absolutely nothing to do with this battle. It's about Kyler Murray. If Kyler Murray gets this playbook down like he's been able to be this whole offseason, I don't think there's any situation where, respectfully, that JJ beats Kyler Murray out. This is just the political way of saying we're not going to announce it right away, but Kyler Murray is going to be the guy that wins that battle in Minnesota and puts them in a better situation.
I'm with you. I don't, but I also don't understand why you wait.
That's just what they do to give people. It's like a mental thing that coaches do.
Don't you want Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison to get used to?
But they don't realize. Coaches don't realize that. I guess it's a part of we don't want to say anything. Dude, it's beat writers. It's people talking to their friends. These teams already know who you're leaning towards, right? Now, at this point, they have gambling sites that are giving odds. It's like, come on, man. Like, everyone's going to know. It's not that big of a deal. And honestly, when you're in I can tell you this, being in part of a quarterback battle with Colin Kaepernick and Blaine Gabbert, puts you in a weird spot of knowing who should I get more extra work with, right?
And that's
the thing that kind of delays it. Like, I love both of y'all. Right? We teammates. However, who should we spend more time with? Then that's the awkward part that you kind of get past. But watch Justin Jefferson. He's going to tell you who's the guy.
Oh, fair enough. Let's talk about your boy Nick Sirianni, who made some headlines this week, because it seems like he just discovered ChatGPT.
I couldn't figure out, was that a fake message or a real? There's no way he made that rookie mistake.
That he is now using AI to help him with some coach, find some motivational tips and stories, and I'm all about it. Is that something or nothing? I'll start. I think that's something, and I think innovation. I'm all for it. Work smarter, not harder. We don't have time to sit around.
I agree with that.
You know it. Like when you're sitting in the team rooms, they're finding different stories from movies or different stories from the past to motivate guys. No one has time to sit and research all that. Just tell ChatGPT what you're looking for, word salad something out, and it'll give you some ideas. I'm all for it. I'm with Nick Sirianni and using AI in a smart way.
I think it's something, but in a smart way. You use technology, use tools. If communication isn't your strength, or you run out of ideas to talk about, right?
I'll tell you what, that's somebody's job.
It was a simple message, right?
That's some QC's job that just got,
Yeah, it's funny because I remember seeing athletes kind of copy and paste the stuff that someone texted them to post for their social media posts. It kind of reminds me of that, but rookie mistake for sure. But I think technology is a tool, and it can be your friend or it can be your enemy. And in this case, your teammates were your enemy, because who screenshot his stuff and sent it out?
You just got to take out that long hyphen that gives away that it's ChatGPT. Just take that out, make it a comma or something.
He has to learn a little more. He hit the basic generic. He has to up his game.
All right, we're going to take a break and wrap the show. When we come back, you're watching Purple Playbook.
This is the Purple Playbook, brought to you by M&T Bank. Now, WJC's Purple Playbook, brought to you by M&T Bank.
All right, as we wrap up the show, got a couple days before everyone reports the training camp tour. You know better than me. What are the guys doing over these next couple of days as they get ready for training camp?
Yeah, just enjoying the last little bit of home or whatever trip they may be coming off of, kind of reset.
Hydrating.
Really get yourself ready for the grind. Your body, you're trying to taper off, right? Because you work in peaks, right? You're grinding a certain time. You want to make sure you're not peaking too early. So guys are trying to get ready to come to camp, get reset. And the biggest thing is have a clear mind. There's a lot of things that go on in life. It's important to go in with a clear mind and kick everybody else out for a while you lock in for camp.
Got about 30 seconds left. I want to ask you, though, because the change this year, they're going from afternoon practices, which we've seen the past couple of years under John Harbaugh, to now mostly morning practices under Jesse Minter. Going to kind of stay out of the sun a little bit. Big deal?
Huge deal. It's hot out there, man. And lose less weight, I love it. Wake up and go.
I'm all for it. As someone who's going to be out there either way, protect my skin, and also maybe save a shirt, because I sweat through a shirt and bring another polo to get on TV later on. So save me a little bit of time as well. All right, but that's going to do it for this week's Purple Playbook. For two-time Super Bowl champion Torrey Smith, I'm Alex Glaze. We will be back next week talking training camp. We're going to finally have some real football to talk about.
Football's back.
We'll see you next week.